Ladies and my gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Zan King Show. Today we got a few topics that I've been thinking about, but just to get this party started, I just want to let you guys know that I'm really glad that at least maybe one of you guys listens to this show. I think I talked about it on the last show a little bit, but I really want to talk about it on this show. Just how much, like, when I'm rambling, because I'll ramble to myself all the time. And it's so helpful to like have those little notes in my phone so I could write it down just for whatever I'm thinking. Just fucking jot it down, whatever. It's awesome to be able to be like, yeah, I could just dump my thoughts into this notepad and then dump my thoughts onto the podcast. I understand that may not be appealing for a lot of people, but for me, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. We got a few things that I want to talk about. A lot of interesting shit. A lot of interesting shit, in my opinion. We got some stuff about liberals. I'm sorry, folks. We got to talk them. We got some stuff about quantum computing. And we got some stuff about AI and computer parts. So let's get straight into this, man. I'm going to take a really quick rip off the vape and the bong, and we will get right into it. Cheers, folks. This is your opportunity. Go grab your vapes, go grab your bowls, your bongs, your joints, your dab rigs, your fucking Benjamins. Go grab the line of cocaine. Go grab the heroin needle. Let's get this shit. Go grab your fucking ether. Shout out to Sky Hawthorne. Go grab your fucking ether. Huff that shit. Do whatever it is you do. And let's get into this motherfucking episode. Cheers. All right, guys. And now I've taken the vape hit. We are going to take a rip off the fucking bong. I hope you guys can hear this shit. This is some good ass weed that I yoinked for $50 for the ounce. Yes, I get baked as shit. And no, Mr. DEA agent, I won't tell you his name. You could suck my literally hairy left nut. It's looking monstrous, folks. I really do need to go shave or something. Cheers, guys. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. We could do better than that, but I got a pretty decent hit out of that. It wasn't a lot. I think my filter's fucked up or something, but that's okay. We'll pack another bowl whenever I feel like it. We're gonna dive straight into this stuff. Actually, while I was hitting my vape, I came up with a couple good ideas on what to talk about. Or at least a couple more good ideas. I do have a good idea of what I want to talk about today. But I do want to say one thing to all you game developers out there. Why are you, sorry, not we. Why are you guys making better and better hardware, right? Like the 5090. And we all know the 5090 is going to drop the 5090 Ti. The 5090 Ti is probably going to drop in like a year. And I don't understand. We're pushing so much power, but who's going to pay $2,000 for the newest model every single time? And I understand like, oh, but there's rich people, so as long as there's a market for it, why not give into it? And to that I say, I agree. I agree 100%. Free market capitalism. Let's go. Win for the boys. But to the modern day consumer, where even our eggs are $12 for a dozen eggs, we're not out here. The working class person isn't out here ready to spend $2,000 every single time they want to look at some pretty graphics. This is crazy. And when they do shit like that, it makes consoles more and more appealing to the customer. I don't know if that's the overarching goal here with Microsoft developing their new quantum chip. I would sure hope not. I really want to get my little mitts on that thing. I think it's going to be really, really cool. But why are we not why are we making these super high tech things with all this AI, all this ray tracing, all these processors, but we're not optimizing the ones the people already have? We all know the two generation gap. If you buy a 30 series card, you wait to buy the 50 series card. Okay, and this is a common rule among PC enthusiasts. So people are two generations behind. You know that. At least that's a common rule. A lot of people are, and uh, you come out and you push this, but how many people are really going to go buy the 50 series? I mean, unless it's a 5070, which that's the only one that looks appealing, really. But it's like the I love capitalism, like I said, but I hate this aspect of it, because this aspect, in my opinion, is the worst, because you're appealing to this niche group of people who have so retarded amounts of money. I had to explain this to my friend. Most of the people who have those 50 series cards, these are crypto miners. These are ultra wealthy guys who are posting their setups on Reddit. This isn't your average day consumer, and this is a fact. If you let's just think about it, man. Who's out here really day one ready to buy a new graphics card? I mean, given there's a lot of people with no obligations, no job, no family, no car, no hope, no dreams, but so there are those few people. And these game companies are always showing these trailers that look so pretty. You got game companies like EA. They're the biggest offender of this, in my opinion. EA, Bethesda really holds true, in my opinion. When Bethesda shows a trailer, it's usually intriguing to people who, it's like always an inside joke kind of thing. At least in my opinion. Like with the Skyrim remake, you saw, if you didn't know, if you knew, you knew. I'm sorry, I'm high. I just took a hit. But if you played Oblivion, you would see aspects of Skyrim that's like, oh shit. If you've played Skyrim, or my God, what the fuck, guys? If you played Fallout, you would see aspects of that Fallout trailer you'd recognize. But my big problem is, when it comes to ray tracing, when it comes to path tracing, when it comes to these ultra realistic reflections and lighting mechanics, I personally love them. I really do. The problem is, nowadays my 3080 Ti is starting to lag a little bit, fellas, and that makes me sad. And so I'm sitting here wondering, do I spend 2K to get the nicest graphics in hopes that it's not going to be dog shit in 4 years and I'm going to have to upgrade to the 70 series? Or do I just stick with my 30 series in hopes that they're going to fucking optimize shit? I don't know what to do. I feel like I have a gun to my head. And if I want to play nice, pretty games, I'm going to have to go dish out some serious dough in order to do it. And that, my boys and girls, my ladies and my gentle gentlemen, is the unfortunate reality of gaming today. You are stuck in a paradox where you get a PC. Okay, this is why I built my PC. I built my PC for the freedom of gaming. I don't have to pay for a fucking subscription like Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus. I don't have to do any of that shit. I can pirate my fucking games, at least, the really expensive ones. I try to be generous to little indie games. But I can pirate all those games, and then by the time I've pirated all the games that I want, by the time that I have my PC for like a few years, what would the cost be if I bought all those games and had the subscriptions for everything at the same time? What would that cost me? And in my brain, when I was building my PC, I was like, you know what? This is worth. But now I'm 3 years later. This is 3 years later. My PC's been an absolute fucking beast. I mean, it has ran everything, ultra settings, full ray tracing. Shit, Cyberpunk 77, folks. Cyberpunk 70 fucking 7. I had running on max settings. I don't even know if I could do that today. And that really sucks. It's a real bummer. And I think that the way that these game companies are going, it's a dangerous path. It really is. I mean, think about it, folks. You want to talk about a killer of your industry. Fucking Xbox is all in one, baby. You plug that bad boy in, make a fucking account, which I've already had an account for a goddamn decade. Sign in your account, you're fucking ready to go. With a PC, you got to worry about shit like this. And sure, yeah, you got to buy an Xbox once every couple years, but that's only fucking $500, dude. CPU, GPU, and everything, motherfucker. Ray tracing and shit. So it's becoming less and less appealing, and I'm starting to sink into this console play. Shit, dude. And this is true, I have started playing fucking Bedrock Minecraft on my PC. And it's true. I have. The only problem with it is it has a very small selection of mods and add-ons, but at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's nicer, it's cleaner. I can play with my homies on everything. I started a realm to where I could play on my fucking phone type shit. That's fucking dope. And so I'm sorry. I used to say the complete opposite thing. In fact, I remember saying years ago, I think PCs are gonna flat out kill consoles altogether. But now I actually think consoles might wipe out PCs. I think it's becoming more expensive and less gratifying to build a PC, to buy a PC. Most people aren't building their PCs, they're buying PCs, getting ripped off on the fans, getting ripped off on the CPU, and they don't even know what those numbers mean. A 12800 FK? What are you talking about? People who are buying pre-builds don't know that shit. They never even cleaned their fucking computer. They never held a dust fucking air can up to that bitch. They never blowed the dust out. They're praying on a fucking hoping women a prayer, dude, that shit starts up. They don't even know if the fucking what the red light on the motherboard means. If they see a red light on the motherboard, they're just cooked. They're cooked. And so I think that we're entering this age where it's becoming harder and harder to justify this shit. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's crazy to hear myself say the words. Because I've told so many other people for so many years the exact opposite thing. But I'm really starting to switch my narrative there. Speaking of switching the narrative, we're going to switch it up just a little bit because some interesting things happened the last couple days. I'm sure you all saw it. The liberals did not clap for that kid with cancer, which, that's really fucked up, dude. I didn't even believe it. I was watching Asmongold at work last night, and I was listening to the whole fucking thing. And it's just nuts when these guys are saying, obviously making jokes, but he's a DEI hire. That's crazy, dude. That's so nuts. I mean, not even for a second we can't drop the shtick. Not even for a second. Guys, Obama and Trump were laughing and joking with each other at Jimmy Carter's fucking funeral. Can't we all get along for 2 seconds and understand that this is just just a wholesome moment with that kid hugging the leader of the Secret Service, whatever the fuck he's called? Why can't we just have that moment? And I won't lie. And this isn't a call to violence, but, if I was in their room, I would have started punching motherfuckers. But this is why I would never be able to be in that fucking room. So, I would never go in that room out of my own free will. And if I do in the future, Mr. President, but I don't know, man. I don't know how you can have, and I was really trying to think about it. I was really thinking how could this be spun to be something bad? I just can't even think about it, folks. And it depresses me that there is such this crazy polarization, man. And even now, my face is in my hands because it hurts my feelings. I have a few family members that have had cancer, and I've had a few family members pass away of cancer. And it's like you have this kid he's a fucking hero, and you're just, I don't know. And obviously, this is some optics type shit. I'm not stupid. I understand what's happening here, but like let's compare like the optics of Joe Biden. Like when they cuz you think about the liberals, right? It's a very emotional uh ideology. It's very emotional based. They're trying to pull on the heartstrings. Think about the chick kids. They're going to kill themselves if you don't say their pronouns. Think about the old people. If you leave your house, you're going to kill them. These were very sensitive arguments, very sensitive topics, but they're retarded. They're fucking stupid. And yeah, for example, you got Joe Biden, who fucking, he'll recognize Pride Month all the time. He'll recognize trans rights all the time. And that's obviously for optics. But Trump comes out and he celebrates Women's History Month. And a kid with cancer, that's his optics. Your optics is trans kids and a fucking pandemic trying to get control over your mind, body, soul, and bank account. That's the liberal optics. But our optics are wholesome and loving, and have a kid with cancer who had over a dozen brain surgeries hugging the leader of the Secret Service. I know I just got it wrong again. Be mad. Stay mad. But that's our optics, guys. So I think if that's actually our optics that we are loving, and we don't know how that family voted. I mean, okay, wait a minute. I mean, I can guess. The dad was wearing a Texas flag on his shirt. I think I can guess how he voted. But if we're speaking generally, we're speaking hyperbolically here. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm sorry. But we're speaking it generally. That's a good word. We don't know who he voted for. They could have voted for fucking Kamala. Who gives a shit? I cannot stress this enough. I literally do not give a fuck who you voted for as long as you're nice. I literally don't care. I just ran into this lady who told me she was like triple vaccinated. We didn't get into like any of the Kamala stuff because that would have just been stupid, but it's like, I think people who took the vaccine are goofballs, but I love you. I don't really care about your politics too much. If you're willing to be nice, if you're willing to be friendly, don't give a fuck. Do not give even a single fuck, actually. If you love me, and not even love me, if you show me the courtesy that you're going to treat me like a human, I'm going to treat you like a human. And the way I treat humans is very empathetic. I care about you. I care about what you think. I care about how you think. And I want to know you. I want to get to know you. Not in a creepy way, but in a nice way. And that's that. I think if that's our goal, I think if our goal is to just be nice and treat people based on the content of their character and the merit of their character and not anything that they cannot control. I think that if that's genuinely, and you can feel this in your heart of hearts, I know it is for me. When you close your eyes, nobody's in the room, your phone's off, no one can hear you. If you genuinely feel as if what you are doing and what your overarching goal is, I want to spread as much love as possible, as least amount of harm as possible, and empower as many people as possible. If that's your goal, how can you go wrong? And when I say empower, I'm talking about individual liberties. I'm talking about self-sustaining people who don't consistently need the president to come talk every day, but they just know that he's actually trying for them. And I think that if we can maintain that idea, then we're going to be okay. But as long as we have people calling Trump Hitler, calling Kamala Harris the Antichrist, making fun of people, bullying people, belittling people. That shit doesn't work. That's the one thing that Trump got wrong in his 2016 run is he was genuinely kind of a dick. Genuinely kind of a dick. And he even noticed that and he switched it up. Come on, folks. If you're not willing to admit you're wrong, when will you fucking admit you're right? When? Always? You're always right. Always. Okay, I got you. Because nobody's always right, bitch. Sometimes you're wrong. Even the smartest people in the world are wrong. Dude, Stephen Hawking had underage orgies. Okay? That guy was talking about, like, black holes and shit. Things that we can't even describe. And he was banging underage chicks. Nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes, man. Seriously. And if you're going to hold people to your mistakes, could you fucking imagine? Listen, I'm not going to say that I've done horrible things because I know killers, but I've done bad enough things to where it's like, I know that I can see the difference in myself now versus then. Like, I think about the things I did then, and I literally say, how? Like, how did I ever, first of all, how did I get away with it? Like, that's the first thing. Like, if you did that, the shit I was doing back then in 2025, you are getting caught damn near instantly. Like, damn near instantly. There's no way you're getting away with that shit ever. We might be able to dive into that when the statute of limitations lifts up on that, folks, but that won't be for like another decade. Sorry. I don't know why I have this much energy during the podcast. Here, I need to find my vape. We're going to pause for a second. I need to check this notification, but we will be right back. All right, fellas, I am back. I took a little intermission there, and I had a granola bar. I opened up a Sprite. Cheers, by the way. Taking a little sip. Opened up a little Sprite. Oh yeah, boy. Got my Vaporino. I packed another bong. Had a whole ass conversation, but hopefully that won't derail. So we were talking about the polarization, and while I was goofing around doing shit, I was thinking, like, what do people gain from the polarization? Like, what is the point? Like, what do normal people gain from it? And I don't know if it's just clout, recognition, influence that they want, or if it's this internal thing so they can prove something to themselves, prove something to other people. I have no idea. But that's just one of the things I wanted to talk about. It's shocking to me that people hate Trump so much and hate politicians so much, whether you be on the right or the left. They hate the opposition so much that no matter what they do, it is negative, no matter what. And I think that's a really bad thing. I think that's pretty bad, man. And this is another bummer. But why is America First bad? I'm pretty sure we talked about this in another pod, so I won't rag on about it too long. But I don't know what's been talked about in a podcast, what hasn't. There has been a couple of solo podcasts that have been cut, so I'm not sure. But we're going to talk about it anyways. Sorry about that. Why is America First bad? This is a genuine question I'm asking each and every one of you. Because to me, it seems like people are trying to frame, like, I don't know if there's an actual political organization called America First, but what I'm referring to is like putting America first. If you're an American, why are we giving so much money to other countries when we have so many problems here? Why? Why is that a thing? Why are we giving money to countries who think that we're poorly educated? and that we are racist and fascist, and yet they still beg for money. What would you ever take money from a racist or a fascist, like an actual racist or an actual fascist? It's going to have kickbacks. There's going to be repercussions of taking that money. Nothing's free. I don't know why it's such a looked down upon thing. If one of you has an objection to this, please put it down in the comments below, or even better, come on the show and you can talk about it. I would love to have you on. But to me, it seems like when we're talking about far right, far left, what defines the far right? What defines the far left? Are we drawing lines in the sand, or are we creating new lines each and every time that a new person steps up to the stake? You can't just keep calling everybody racist and fascist and a Nazi. This is 2016 type shit. Almost 10 years ago. This is old. You can't call everybody a Nazi again. You can't fucking do it. It didn't work the first time. In fact, it won him the fucking election. Bro's approval numbers are higher than they've ever been. Higher than they've ever been. And I'm just sitting over here like, once again, the 85%, folks. If you're listening to this, there's a chance you may be among the 85%. Or the 15%, I should say. A few of you may be in the 85. But I don't think so. Not if you're listening to this show. Because first of all, get no views. So if you're watching this, you actually want to watch it. It's not like someone's pressuring you to watch it. So if you're watching the show, you're probably a free thinker. And so just think about it for a second. What do people gain from this polarization except money and power? What? I was listening to Asman, like I said, last night, and Ben Shapiro was saying how David Chauvin should be freed and how he should be pardoned. But that guy was like a serial offender, right? Like he had so many complaints. He had 18 complaints on his file. Regardless on your take on George Floyd, which he was a piece of fucking shit who held a knife up to a woman's throat. But that's neither here nor there, man. If you have 18 offenses, and first of all, does driving under the influence mean the death penalty? That's a question you got to ask yourself. But I don't think so. But does David Chauvin need to be in prison or whatever the fuck? David Chauvin. I think he should be in prison personally. That video was pretty fucked up. Regardless if Mr. Floyderson was on Fetty or whether he was sober, doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you get the fucking death penalty, But I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. There's so much polarization, and Asman said something pretty interesting. He's like, "This is the right's Hamas." It's like, yeah, that's actually pretty fucking based, actually. Because at the beginning, I was like, I actually was convinced, like, okay, wait, Ben Shapiro has a point here. And this is the beautiful thing, folks, about not being married to an idea. Because at first, when I first listened, I was like, oh, wait, man. No, dude, David Chauvin or whatever the fuck his name is, he's in jail because of political shit. But then Asman actually brought up like those 18 cases of how he's like a piece of fucking shit, and this isn't the first time that he did some shit like this. You have to be willing to conform to the truth. You have to. Regardless if I agree with the Black Lives Matter protest, regardless if I agree with fucking George Floyd or whether I think he was a good guy, which I fucking don't. I think he was a criminal and he was a drug-induced criminal, but that doesn't equal the death penalty. And I don't know. He said it's the right's version of how much the liberals love Hamas. Let's hit the vape to that. And that's a really interesting take. And when he said that, I was like, fuck, he's right. He's so right. Like it really is. It is irrational to be like, oh, this guy that literally caused another dude to die, he should probably be released. I remember my grandpa's black. I remember the day that he was being sentenced. And I remember when he was sentenced, my grandpa's face went straight into his hands. And at the time, you know, I was a young lad. I didn't know much. And I was happy that he was sent to prison. I didn't know anything. And I was like, yay, yay, but they saw it as a political ploy. They saw it as a political tool, and they thought that he was being politically prosecuted. He was actually rightfully prosecuted, and he probably should be in there for much longer than 10 years, like Asmund said, 10 years, but at least 10 years. That's all I'll say. And all this political diversity, everything that we've gone through, and it is injecting itself into social media. It's injecting itself into the things we love, video games, streaming. I'm sure some of you guys who follow Twitch, whether it is Twitch, whether it's, any sort of fucking YouTube, whatever, whether podcasts, but there is a clear bias. Like, can we all admit that? Like, a clear bias. Netflix showing those transformers, like, what the fuck? And fucking Reddit, dude, the most communist fucking platform that I have actually ever seen in my life. And I'm sitting over here. This is actually something I was going to bring up later in the pod. But we'll bring it up right now. I was talking to AI about an idea, and I guess I'll just put it out in the sphere for whoever hears this. I really think X should implement threads. I don't know if this is like a Zoomer take or something, but the one thing that X doesn't have that Reddit has are these communities full of people involved in a specific niche, whether that be PC building or a certain video game or a certain frame of mind, a certain kind of question. That is Reddit's thing. I understand, when the AI was explaining it, Reddit is far more organized, X is far more chaotic. But I just think that, like, if X actually did some shit like that, it would totally increase the longevity of X. In my opinion, I'm not a programmer or developer or anything, but listen, X, if you're listening to this shit, I will come and throw some ideas at the wall with you guys. Listen, I know Big Balls has a job there. Let me get a job there. Come on. Actually, I'm probably not as good as Big Balls. You should probably keep Big Balls. You don't have to hire me. But the reason I brought all that shit up is because there obviously is a bias in these social media networks, and it sucks for all of us who are genuinely just seeking the truth. When we just want the unbiased truth, no matter if it looks bad on the right, no matter if it looks bad on the left, I don't care. I just want the fucking truth. And so when I'm looking for the truth and consistently comments are being removed, people are being called fascist and racist, and then the comments gone, whatever they said is gone, and I can't even look at it. Or every single thread is biased towards the left. It's hard. It's hard. And then you go to the conservative subreddit, and it's just like a bunch of fucking memes. It's just memes and shit. It's no one actually having a serious conversation, and it's making us look retarded, guys. Like, at least on Reddit. Listen, I know a lot of you don't use Reddit, and honestly, pat on the back, I don't really use it anymore. I mostly use it for, like, fucking porn and podcast guest exchange. That's it. Reddit is a fucking awesome. It used to be awesome. A few years ago, dude, oh my God, it was banging, bro. I mean, fucking, you used to go to Reddit and actually get an objective opinion on something. Nowadays, you just get some fucking wishy-washy guy who's trying to skirt around his words, and he doesn't really want to say the whole truth, but he's trying to get the truth. Like, go ask somebody on Reddit if China has slaves. Go ask them. They'll say no. They'll say no, they don't. And that's a crazy fucking statement, because we all know they do. And there's a clear bias. And the thing is, when you allow that bias to prevail and you actually successfully are able to negate certain narratives, it creates a dangerous precedent that is set by corporations, and it spreads. And it's spread from Reddit, and it's on Twitch, man. You know, I know that Asman talked about it, but I'll talk about it here. I don't give a fuck. Hassan calling for violence, getting a 1-day ban. That's pretty big news. Whether or not he covered it, I want to talk about it for those who didn't hear it. Bro said they should go. There's this, I guess he's an executive for some, I think he's like a senator or something in government. Rick Scott is his name. I'm not too familiar with Bro, but I guess he's a shady character, supposedly. I mean, whenever the left calls someone a shady character, there's like a 25% chance that they're actually a shady character. But 3/4 of the time, it's probably just some normal white dude just minding his own business. And he said that if you really care about this, you should go kill the guy. Could you fucking imagine if you said any of that kind of shit about like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? Dude, they would come kicking down your door like tomorrow type shit. Tomorrow. Or if you said it about like Nancy Pelosi or like Elizabeth Warren, I'm sure people do. I'm also sure they get knocks at their fucking door too. It just makes me wonder what's really happening in the background. We want to believe that Donald Trump is really putting an end to all this nonsense. And I think it's fair to say we should stay skeptical. At this point in time, I mean, in the first month of being president, I think he's done more than most presidents have done in their entire presidency. At least when it comes to doing what they say they were going to do. Most presidents lie. A lot of presidents are fucking full of shit. And I mean, Trump has already had his moments with the JFK and MLK files. Absolute nothing burger. Fucking Epstein files. Absolute nothing burger. I mean, I could have told you guys nothing was going to be in there. And this promise, not promise, but this notion for a 5K check, which I have been approached by a few different people, and they've asked, how likely is it that we're actually going to get checks? And I love Trump. I think he's one of the greatest presidents of all time since Abraham Lincoln. But the chances of those checks hitting your bank account are slim to none. And I would honestly, I want to be wrong so bad that I think all of you should believe that you're not getting it. And the day that you get it, admit you're wrong immediately. Just be like, wow, I was wrong. And then take the money and dip. That's the best course of action. But until it happens, I'm going to say, no, it's not going to happen. I would put money on the fact that it's probably not going to happen. If you think it's going to happen, you clearly don't know how the government really works. And if it does happen, it will certify Donald Trump's name as one of the greatest presidents of all time. I mean, think about it. Think about it, dude. If he got rid of so much fraud and waste in the government that we got a $5,000 check from the government, right? How crazy would that be? How fucking nuts. Now, I don't know if that's the best thing you could do with that money. Are you going to give the ultra rich 5K too? That's my big question. Are you giving them 5K? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Who's getting the 5K? Because it shouldn't be every taxable American. If you're making $200,000 a year, you don't need $5,000, dude. You don't need to give every fucking senator and congressperson their last big check, all right? You don't need to fucking do that. That's retarded. Let's chill. Maybe we could put the money towards something better, like education, state education. You know, maybe we could make some changes in the military. You know, maybe I mean a lot of changes are being made in the military. I'm sure you guys heard about that too. But man, I just think there's a lot of money that's being talked about that it's kind of imaginary numbers at the moment. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news and the Debbie Downer, but I really do think that's what's going on here. I think that I think this one's actually a political ploy by Donald Trump. I love the guy, but I actually think this is one of those things where he's saying it to hype people up. Love the guy, but you got to admit sometimes people are just politicians. That's kind of the end of that story, man. If I could be honest with you. One last thing. Can we all, anyone listening to this podcast, and this is a very easy thing to do, try your best to just accept people for how they are. Try to find common ground somehow. You know, whether that's God, whether that's philosophy of some kind, whether that's science, fuck politics. If you can avoid talking about politics, do it. Unless you know for a 100% fact that you're going to get a good response. But in my experience, every time I think I'm saying something based in front of people, turns out most of the time they disagree. And that's my big problem, man. Sorry about that, folks. I actually thought my house was being broken into and I was gonna fucking die. But good news is that I don't think anybody's here coming to murder me. And also good news, folks, we got the motherfucking bong packed with a lot of marijuana this time. So we're gonna take a cheers, an actual cheers. I need to grab my lighter really quick. I'm not gonna pause it. We're gonna take a nice cheers together. So this is your one spot to kind of get your shit together. Let's do this. Let's go. In the name of unification and bipartisanship, red, white, and blue Americans, let's all take a drag. Hold up, folks. Pokes. All right. We got the motherfucking bong. We got the motherfucking lighter. Let's take a cheers. All right. Cheers, folks. I think I'm going to hold the bong a little bit away from the phone because I thought it was going to pick up noise canceling, but it did not. And so I'm sorry if that was a little loud for you guys. So I'll hit it a little bit farther away. Cheers, guys. I hope that came through good over the mic. Nothing like a good old bong hit to settle the nerves, you know? All right. So this is something I've been hearing about for a while now, and I can't wrap my mind around the thought process, right? CNN slash Libtards say Joe Rogan, Nelk Boys, Theo Von, and Brian Callen, Flagrant, and all the other podcasts that appear, Your Mom's House, Two Bears, One Cave, love them all. I think they're all great shows. But the libs are saying that they are being financed to push a specific narrative to tarnish the left. And the other claim was that podcasts are being paid by Russia. Joe Rogan responded by saying, "No, it's just a bunch of homies. You fucking idiots. We do each other's podcasts." I heard about this when it first started brewing. I remember when it was that is he British or Australian? Oh my God. Can't even think of his name. Russell Brand. Love that fucking guy. It all started with him. And they were saying that he was being paid by Russia. And then it turned into Joe Rogan. It turned into Theo. Turned into Nelk. And I'll be honest, I didn't really catch wind of it until it hit Duncan Trussell. When they started talking shit about Duncan, I was like, oh, whoa, they're coming at this guy now, which was crazy because he was like, I remember listening to his show, and he was like the biggest libtard in the world. I remember this was why I listened to his whole show start to finish, was because nowadays he has a pretty based opinion about things, but back then he was like huge ultra liberal. So I wanted to know like where the crossover happened, where he finally switched, but it really became apparent like that he looks at Reddit, because he talks about it. Talks about looking at Reddit. And so I know that he sees all the shit that people post when they say that like he's a Russian shill. I noticed at least I didn't see it when I tried finding it. His subreddit's gone. I don't know if that's even still a thing. The Duncan Trussell subreddit. It's really sad, man. Like we were talking about earlier, I feel like it really I mean, we did make that connection, so it's totally related to what we were talking about, man. They're trying to interject politics in everything that we care about. And then because you don't agree with that politics, you will stop doing that thing. And then eventually the only people that are left doing that thing are these huge social liberals who all agree with each other, never disagree. And if you do disagree, you get banned or muted, or everyone like talks shit about you. It's one or the other. One or the other. And it's essentially a cult. I know we talked about this on another show. And this goes for the right too. I know some people who were actually down for 2025. This is true. Absolutely 100% true. I know one guy in particular that and here's the thing, I have a conspiracy about 2025. I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but I think that Project 2025, it was created by liberals to make conservatives and people on the right look crazy. I know that sounds nutty as fuck because the Heritage Foundation wrote it and shit, but there's been bigger conspiracies, right? Like there's been way bigger, because that Project 2025 shit is like whew, out the window, right? Like it's not even a thing that exists anymore. But when it was relevant, it was the weirdest thing, because I was like, it almost seemed, because it was so crazy. It talked about banning porn. It actually talked about taking away gay rights. It actually talked about minimalizing women in society. It was actually crazy. Like it was a crazy document that was drafted. There was a few parts that I liked, like when it talked about destroying certain, like the federal government, like minimalizing that. When it showed like it wanted states' rights on a lot of things, I really like that. But I think that if I went through like a liberal, or I'll be generous, if we went through a Democrat like a drafting for what they want to get done in a year, sure, I'm gonna be able to find a lot of that crazy shit. But I'm sure there's a few things that I agree with. I'm sure. So I'm not giving Project 2025 the benefit of the doubt just purely because I'm such an open-minded person. And like I'm sure that if you have a good explanation, and if you have thought out how it's going to go, what's going to happen, how we're going to do it, and you have a solid explanation on how it's going to end, okay, cool, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. As long as you're not hurting people, you're not trying to create chaos in society and literally incite violence and riots, and literally incite threat to democracy, which is trying to get rid of free speech, which is what Tim Walz said. That is a direct quote from Tim Walz. The First Amendment is our number one obstacle. and fuck the context. I don't even know the context of that. I don't know, but fuck the context. No matter what the context is, that's never right. If you're saying, I agree with the First Amendment, but go fuck yourself, there is no buts. It's either you agree with the Constitution and you love this country, or you don't. And that's as simple as that. And if you say like, well, how does loving the Constitution have anything to do with loving America? Because why the fuck do you think America is so great to begin with? What makes America great? We are great because literally anybody of any background, of any skin color, of any sexual orientation can rise to the top of the fucking ladder and become one of the greatest of all time, no matter what you're doing. And that's why, and you won't, and instead of being judged like you do in the UK, instead of people trying to belittle you and try to push you down to their level like they do in Europe, and here in America, we try to empower each other. Us Americans, we love nothing more than an immigrant coming here legally and rising to the top of the fucking heap and becoming the greatest of the greats. Period, motherfucker. You want to talk about being an American? Let's talk about loving each and every one of our veterans, whether or not those wars were right. They went over there and they fought for what they thought was right. Period. And we should love those people. And in the United States of America, we show the most love for our veterans out of any other country, dude. And yet we still have homeless fucking veterans on the street, man. What is that? What is that? We have the fucking VA, which I haven't done that much research in, but just with my minimal amount of research that I have done, it's like, what's going on? Why do we have so many veterans coming home and feel like the only option is to pick up a bottle or shove a fucking needle in your arm or blow your fucking brains out? Why are those the three options? Or you're all fucked up. Or you do none of those things and you're just all fucked up. Well, and I like to say that I have answers for most things. But there's a few things that happen where I sit and ponder with my own thoughts and I think, what is the possible solution? How can we stop these veterans getting all fucked up? I don't know the numbers in the past few years. I truly don't. I just know, like what the record says. I know that a lot of veterans are committing suicide. I don't know the exact numbers. If you ask me the exact numbers, and there's nothing coming out. You're going to get some random hoopla. But I will say, if you're going to sit and tell me that there's not a lot of veterans blowing their brains out every day, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong, and I would put money on that you're wrong. I don't know the exact numbers. Maybe they've declined. I would say they've declined because no one wanted to go to World War III, so all the numbers were declining. Because if you were in the military, I'm just a civilian, but even I saw that, like, if Kamala got in, we were for sure going into World War III. Nuclear war with Russia, for sure. Like, I saw that. So, like, if I saw that, I know that people who are military strategists saw that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if literally nobody wanted to go do that. I wouldn't be surprised if we had the largest military decrease ever in the history of the world, because people are like, yeah, nah, I'm not about to because people would be really dumb to try to come over here, right? Like, they'd be really stupid. That'd be pretty dumb. We have a lot of military bases in this bitch. And unless you're packing with 10 to 20 nukes, because we have bunkers, motherfucker. I mean, we're talking miles deep, bitch. And even with, hypersonic missiles will fuck us up. But, there's people all around, even in space. You'd have to destroy the International Space Station. Because as soon as those fuckers see some shit popping off, they're going to radio into Earth and everybody's going to know. And then all the people that are underground, they're all going to hide away. You know, we have procedure for the worst of the worst. We really do. Is we would be fucked, me and you, the civilians, we're cooked for sure. If the bombs drop, shit, run towards it. You want my advice? Run towards it, motherfucker. Unless you're far enough away. But what world are you going to live in? What world are you going to live in when those bombs drop, really? Let's say, because me, for example, I have water purification tablets. I have a lot. And I have this gravity water bag that I scoop up water. And it has like over 1,000 uses. And I have like thousands of seeds that I'm just going to go crazy with, right? But that's my plan for like if the power goes off, like if hypothetically like Russia or China decides, or North Korea or whoever tries to shut off the power grid and they do it successfully, I would hope we have a backup, but under the Kamala administration, I'm not really sure what kind of natural resources we would have. They would want to shut fracking down. They would want to shut down coal. They would want to shut down everything except solar and external shit we get from other countries. I don't even know, lithium. They would try to run everything on lithium. I don't even know how they would do it, really. But let me tell you guys, it really is like some simulation type shit when I really think and ponder on it, right? And it's kind of freaky. Because if she would have got in, I'm not 100% sure what she would have done. None of us are. But we can guess. Think about how hard she was for environmentalism. And think about how hard she was on war. Think about all the other people that encouraged that war. And think about all the other people that are funding this retarded environmentalism. Not all environmentalism is retarded. But even recycling is retarded. In the United States of America, folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Recycling is one of the biggest scams in American history. Genuinely. All your shit ends up in the ocean. Literally. I believe it is around 80% of all plastic ends up in the ocean regardless of recycling plants. And the fact that that number is still true in 2025, it doesn't surprise me. If we actually, maybe that's what we should send the $5,000 check to, actually. Maybe we should fix recycling. Do something good with the money. Because, listen, I'm sure it's far too late now. But maybe we could try fixing some shit. Maybe we could actually try fixing like recycling and help the earth. Listen, I don't want to go too far liberal on you guys, but I got a few ideas. I think that, there's that one guy who's like pulling fucking plastic out of the ocean and he's making fucking diesel fuel with it and he's able to operate generators and shit. Like, what happens when that becomes mainstream? Like right now, this guy, he's getting a lot of views, like 1 million, maybe even 5 million views. That's nothing though in the mainstream of things. That's not too much, too many views. But what happens when that actually does become popular? And like right now, of course, nobody's really paying attention to the kid. He's been mentioned a few. I think Joe talked about him. But other than that, I don't know any mainstream people that have really discussed it. And this guy turns fucking normal old plastic and trash into diesel and powers shit. So what happens when there's no more plastic in the ocean, folks? Do we stop recycling? Like, what if that is the sustainable energy source that we're all looking for, is plastic, and we don't even realize it? We don't even realize plastic is like the number one fucking thing. And we realize it becomes sustainable energy, but we have all these recycling plants dedicated to burning plastic. What happens when we realize plastic's so valuable and we've been underappreciating it that we have buybacks for plastic? What if we don't get plastic anything anymore? And that would be kind of crazy. That's just a thought. I don't know why I just thought of that, but that would be pretty interesting. Like, what if they take all the plastic and just like, yo, we need it, bro. Tell you what, we won't drill in the earth anymore. We won't frack. Fuck, we won't even dig holes, but we want all your plastic. And they treat plastic like the new oil, right? Like we go to war over the shit. Like we heard Afghanistan has the most plastic fucking bags, man. No way, dude. You're capping, bro. Invade, dude. Start dropping bombs. Fucking Philly, you see people, it's not like guns and shit. It's like those little sharp poker things that prisoners use when they're fucking doing community service. Oh man. What kind of world would that be? What kind of world would that be, dude? You know, the Chinese, they don't get a lot right, but I like those man catchers. Like those things where instead of like shooting you, because guys, come on. You know, I understand there are violent criminals out there, but could you imagine if we could actually live in a world where people catchers worked? You know, like, hey, stay down, stay there. You know, like, I watched a whole ass video on how that shit doesn't actually work, and it was just like fucking showed that in a video. I think I watched a video by some Australian dude. I feel so bad I can't remember his fucking name. Such a good guy. I do it or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I feel terrible now. I'm gonna take a bong rip just because I don't remember bro's name. Maybe the bong rip will make me. Did I just put a crumb in my weed? Guys, I don't think that's weed. Yeah, no, that's a crumb. Dude, I'm gonna smoke that fucking thing. Get out of here, you pesky bee. All right, guys. Cheers, boys. Cheers, dude. Fuck. Saying cheers to the podcast is kind of crazy. Here you go. Cheers. That's a good ass bong rip, folks. Oh man. Sorry about another solo episode, guys. You know, ever since I got banned on Reddit, it's really hard to find people to come on the podcast, but I think I figured out a workaround. The weird thing is, right? They banned my email address. My email address is associated with my other email address. And because they're all on my phone, all my emails got banned. And so simultaneously, like all my Reddit accounts I used got banned. And so I can't use anything. And that really stinks. But I have a workaround. And hopefully we'll be able to get some people on the podcast relatively soon, man. You know, I mean, I really do like these solo shows, at least for these couple that we've had. You know, these last couple solo shows have been quite awesome. You know, it's really nice to just kind of info dump to an imaginary person. You know, well, not imaginary, but whether you guys are listening now, I feel like it's gonna be weird for you guys. You know, because when I find a podcast I always binge the podcast, you know, but I feel like I'm just this weird, crazy fucking stoner who probably repeats himself a lot. So I gotta say, guys, I do apologize if you've heard this shit before from me. But I'm kind of sounding like a little bitch now. I'm not meaning to sound like a little bitch, but it's just what I'm thinking when I'm watching a podcast. I'll think to myself, wait a minute. I've heard this before somewhere, you know. I saw this interesting tweet today, and it was by this guy named Kevin Sorbo. I'm not really sure who that is, truthfully. Sorry, bro. But he said something. He said, "When will Rachel Maddow lose her show? She gets less views than I do on X." And his post was sitting at 39K likes and 12K reposts. You know, and I'm gonna assume dude, if she gets, I didn't look this up, I will after this show, and I'll talk about it next week, hopefully, if I don't forget. But I would sure hope that they get more than 39K views on their videos, because that would be actually kind of fucking crazy as shit if they didn't. But I think this brings up an interesting question, though. Why? Why does he get more views? This guy I've never heard of versus this chick that I've probably heard her name more times in the last month than I have in the last few years. And I'm going to assume she's been doing the news thing for a few years now. You know, I never fucking sorry. I've never heard of Rachel Maddow before literally a few months ago. I'm sorry, dude. I feel bad. Maybe I've seen her face somewhere, you know, but I've never heard of the bitch. And I won't take that back. You're kind of cunty. You kind of got a cunty, stupid little face. I won't take it back. You're probably a good person underneath your cunty face. I'm sure if we smoked a bong together, you're probably a pretty cool person. When I get you talking about your kids, you know what? Actually, Rachel, if you want to come on the show, I changed my mind. You're probably an absolute sweetheart. I don't understand why you defend this kind of idea, right? This idea that as long as I say what they tell me to say, everything's going to be all right. Because it's not true. Everything's not going to be all right. And when everything comes falling apart and when no one remembers you, you're going to be left alone with all the mistakes that you made. And you're going to have to find a way to cope. And let me fucking tell you, doing research on homeless people, it does not give me hope for your cope. I'm sorry. It is not looking good, dude. I'm not saying you're going to be homeless because I'm sure you have lots of M's. But with those M's, you could buy a lot of different shit, man. And when your show does come to a close, when free speech, or not even free speech, when independent thought prevails, and when people want an unbiased truth, when people want not even the truth, someone's truth, a truth, we don't want something from a fucking script. We want somebody's actual views. You know, and in 2025, it seems like that's hard to do. It seems like people are unable to do that in 2025. You know, we have to condone those that even see one thing different than us. We have to push back, you know, against evil ideas, and we have to make sure people go unheard. One day that's going to happen to you. You're going to say that one day, because keep in mind, Rachel, these rules change all the time. And at least once every 6 months, one new thing is added that you have to go on and defend. And one day you're going to be out of the fucking loop. You're going to be out of the loop and you're going to say something that is super bad, super controversial, super evil, and they're going to eat you alive. They're going to fucking eat you because you weren't paying attention for one day. Dude, they took the word faggot. They took the word retard. They're going to take the word bitch. Okay? They're going to take the word hoe. I'm not saying these are good words that you should call people. All I'm saying is, if I want to call my friend a faggot, piece of shit, bitch ass, motherfucking whore, I should be allowed to. And then we laugh afterwards. Okay? Is that okay with you, Rachel? Is that fine? You remember those days when you were able to laugh? Because I know a secret about you liberals. I know a secret. You're not able to laugh about this shit. You're not. Because if you laugh and you show your teeth, that means you're submitting. I know what that means. And whether or not you want to admit it's some primal shit, I know it's some primal shit. I know what you're doing. You're trying to assert your fucking dominance on everybody else. You want to act sophisticated. You want to act pretentious. But in reality, I know that when you go home, you are the biggest fucking Trump supporter and you were happy when he won. I know that shit for a motherfucking fact because I know you have loser cousins. I know you have loser aunts who haven't made it out past 35,000 a year. Plot twist. I know that. And so you can act like a fucking liberal communist socialist when you stand on that podium, but I know you're wearing a fucking Make America Great Again hat when you're sitting on the couch drinking whiskey and you're thinking about the future of democracy truly. I know. And one day you're going to have to face the harsh realities that is these people will never stop until everybody's included, until everybody gets their own month, everybody gets their own day, everybody is celebrated in some way, and everybody's first place somehow. Plot twist, motherfucker. There have to be losers if you want winners. There have to be. You can't have winners and no fucking losers. That's called equality of outcome. That's wrong. There is no equality of outcome. There is only a inequality of effort. Period. And if you want the honest to God truth, you need to look within, because the shit that you're putting out into the sphere, the shit you're putting out into the ether when you self-censor, when you say these words are bad words, when you say these words are evil and hurtful and hateful. If I go look at a gay person's face and call him a faggot, I should be beaten the shit out of. And guess what? If I hear you call a gay person a faggot, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I promise. I pinky promise with a stamp that if I see you disrespect a good person to their fucking face, I'm throwing hands. I'm throwing hands. Fuck you. Fuck the rules. Fuck everything. You want to hurt a nice person. You are the enemy now. You want a quick look. This is what I've said. I feel like I've said this so much the last few weeks. If you want a quick way to get on my shit list, talk shit about a good person to my face. Seriously. Seriously. That is the fastest way to do it. But if I want to sit in a Discord call with my homie and he calls me a gay faggot and we start laughing and I call him a retard afterwards, well, guess what, bitch? That's called comedy. And whether or not you're laughing, guess what, bitch? That's why you're not invited to the call. That's why you're not invited. And you can sit with your friends and in silence and never laugh. But I like my friends to scream fucking racial slurs at me out of nowhere when there's too much silence. That's how I like my friends. Spontaneous and funny. I don't like pretentious and boring and lame and stupid and gay and retarded. No, thank you. And I mean gay in the most loving way. I mean that in like the stubborn way, like the stubborn gays. Like that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't mean you have to suck dick to be gay. It means you're gay. I don't know, man. Let's talk about some shit else. What else do I got here? That might actually be all. Oh, we got one more thing here. Trump restoring Title IX to focus on women's safety during Women's History Month. Yeah, I saw that and I looked it up because what I thought it was because I was at work and I listened to the thing. I was listening to Trump talk about it, about Women's History Month, and I was like, that sounds like it's a thing. Like, it sounds like it's been a thing. Like, how is there not a Women's History Month? Like, that just... And I was sitting at work, like, there's been a Women's History Month, and I looked it up, and there's been a Women's History Month, but I guess because of all the shit, like the IVF making it cheaper and more available, and he restored Title IX to focus on women's safety, and exclude like biological men from women's locker rooms, and so But there's not really much I wanted to talk about. That stuff is huge, man. I mean, if you want to talk about women's rights, that's one of the weirdest things, in my opinion, about the liberals of 2025 is that they are able to completely disregard the past, and they're not taking, like, think of a 1970s liberal, right? Think of like a hippie. Like, these guys are doing acid and their homies are going to war, you know. That's kind of a downer. And so you have no choice but to be introspective. Plus, it's during a time where not only are your homies going to war, but you got a guy like Muhammad Ali saying fuck a war. Well, maybe it wasn't him, but he said, I won't go to Vietnam. No Viet Cong ever talk shit about me, so why the fuck you want me to go kill him? What the fuck? No one ever did that shit to me, man. I'm not gonna go kill that guy just because you tell me to. The fuck? Just because you hand me the gun and say he's a bad guy, well, what if he's actually innocent and not the bad guy? How do I know you're not the bad guy? Fuck you. Fuck you. You want me to kill someone? Fuck you. You know? And that was the energy at the time. So you had no choice. When you were taking acid, you had no choice but to have this observer effect of, like, oh, right, they're throwing flamethrowers at babies. And maybe you didn't even know that, but from a lot of the people that I talked to, you did know that. And you kind of knew, like, all the fuck shit going on. Hell, I even heard that they knew about the heroin, but that was only from one guy. And he also said some other crazy shit. So I don't fucking know. I'm going to rip this vape now. Cheers. And maybe also take a sip of this Sprite. So I might pause the show. Hold up. So here's what I think we're going to do, okay? I think we're gonna go over the topics again. Not like, because I feel like I didn't touch on the Hassan one a lot too much, and I feel like I didn't talk about the Kevin Sorbo one enough. So I want to talk about those just because I see, and this is a serious problem with recording on the phone, because I can see the time. I see that it's an hour 16, about to be an hour 17. Cheers. So, I mean, Hassan calling for violence, right? Like, and I was just thinking about that because I feel like I kind of absorbed it in the conversation that we were having before, and I didn't really touch on it too much. But, like, could you imagine if Kamala became president and you started talking about killing her elected officials? Because he is an elected official, right? Like, I mean, I want to look it up, but if I look it up, it's going to end the podcast. That's the only problem here. And I currently do not have any Wi-Fi on my little PC, or I would go look it up, but I don't. Cannot. And maybe that might get explained in the near future, but as of now, I'm going to keep that as a little secret from you guys. You guys might find out why later. And trust me, it's cool. I promise it's a really cool thing that I'm working on, but I don't want to say anything just yet. But let's play pretend, right, that Kamal becomes president and you talk about killing somebody. I mean, they wanted to censor a story about the president's son because they thought it was going to make her look bad. That's kind of crazy, right? Like, why would, like, if that were my homie's kid and he tried covering it up, like, I would think you had something to do with it too. I would just assume, like, if my bro kills somebody and, like, I go to the crime scene and I go clean up the fucking shell casings, I leave the blood and everything, but I clean up the shell casings, or no, I clean up the blood, I clean up the crime scene, I don't want anyone to know about it. And, I fucking cut up the body and eat it or something. I don't know. However serial killers dispose of their bodies. I would do that. Feed it to pigs or whatever. But it's just a crazy notion. I mean, could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine? Your bro has a kid that's banging hookers and smoking crack on a damn near daily basis. And he's like making money from insider trading, all that stuff. Like just from a human perspective, it would be like, it would just be the right thing to do. And like, could you imagine if Kamala came forward and was like, yeah, this is fucked up? Like, instead of trying to cover it up, could you imagine if Kamala was like, yo, this is kind of fucking crazy? And she like took a complete 180 of the situation. Instead of trying to defend Joe Biden and defend his son, what if she was like, nah, you guys are actually criminals? She could have won, dude. No, could you? Dude, she could have won. If she would have played that deck, could you imagine? I don't even understand why she would play the deck of supporting Joe. Just because he's the president? Didn't we like impeach Nixon and Bill Clinton? And didn't you, according to you retards, didn't you impeach Trump twice? Right? That was a thing that you guys bragged about, right? I don't know. That's neither here nor there. The reality of the situation is, if I was Kamala Harris, I would have went on Joe's show for sure. That was the biggest bag fumble ever. I don't know who ever said not to go on his show. Dude, I swear to God, he would have talked to you about like fucking anything else. Because, and I'll admit this, I have a complete parasocial relationship with Mr. Joe Rogan. I know for a fact, because he disagrees with you on some nasty shit. It's like, he would eat you up if you start talking about trans kids, or if you start talking about like, oh, well, these kids, they need to be medicated. If you start talking about that, like, he's going to eat you alive. But I think that he would steer the conversation in a way where you would be comfortable with talking. He's not going to make you fucking light up like a Christmas tree, red face. He's going to try, he's going to ask, he's going to poke, he's going to prod a little bit, but he's not going to make you fluster. He still wants to have a good show at the end of the day. He still wants to have a good production. I don't know him personally, like I said, but if I know the guy like I think I do, I'm pretty sure that would have been an amazing conversation. I think she fumbled that bag. The second thing I think she really fucked up on big time was that Hunter Biden story. I think that when people saw just how entrenched the FBI was with covering that story up, and they lied about it for a little while. They tried their best, but information prevails. The truth prevails always. And so the truth came out that no, the laptop is real. Now, we're never going to see the contents of that thing because I think it has a lot of people on there. I think that dude might have been like the smaller version of Jeffrey Epstein. Like, think about it. Do you really think for a moment that it was only Hunter on that laptop? There had to have been something else. There had to have been. Unless there was some crazy money being thrown at the FBI, but I don't know, man. I don't know. There had to be more than one person involved in the raids, right? And supposedly they had a mountain of evidence. Where the fuck is the mountain? In the wise words of Elon Musk, where the fuck is the mountain, man? I don't know. I wish I could say, because it's an interesting fucking little tale, dude. And when I sit and ponder, I just think like, how many more Jeffrey Epsteins are out there? Like, there wasn't just one, right? Like, there had to have been like a whole circuit of these guys running around doing fuck shit. Think about how many kids go missing every year, dude. That's a crazy fucking number to throw around in your head. How many kids on that border aren't actually with their parents? We're gonna take a little vape hit. Cheers. But it just gets a brother wondering. We know Bohemian Grove is real. Bohemia Grove. And I don't want to get too woo-woo crazy with you guys, but they were worshiping a fucking owl god and burning an effigy of a person. Okay? That's a little fucking weird. And when they would throw the effigy onto the fire, they would all start screaming and saying like words in another language. And like that's their church. Our church is talking about Christ and, the pastor teaching us about the Lord. Their church is looking at an owl god and burning an effigy. And keep in mind, this is where all the billionaires go. This is where all the world leaders go. This is where all the leaders in the country go. They all go to this one place and they burn effigies at the feet of an owl. And that owl is named Moloch, and he's actually a biblical demon. And he's the owl god of child sacrifice, And so, our church is nice and friendly, and we go talk about Christ. They go worship an entity named Moloch and burn effigies at his feet. Okay, that's cool, as long as you're not hurting anybody. It's a little weird, though. That's some shit out of a fucking movie. That's a little crazy, and that's real. So I wonder what else is real. It makes me wonder what else is real. Like, are they actually drinking people's blood? Are they drinking the blood of the youth? I don't want to get too deep into this shit, fellas. But Alex Jones is right like 25% of the time, right? And recently he's been throwing some crazy shit out into the sphere. And a lot of stuff bro says is pretty based. Like, like I said, 50% of the time. I don't like when the guy gets all worked up, though. I don't know. Like, you lost your weight, dude. You've shed the former you. Chill. He does seem a lot more chill now, but he still gets red in the face on occasion. But I don't know, guys. I don't know, man. That's pretty much everything I really wanted to talk about, Once my mind stops thinking, I think it's about time to call it quits, I think that's a healthy way to do it. You know what? But we are gonna rip the bonging tin one more time. We're gonna rip the vaporino one more time. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, and I'm gonna go to bed. So, cheers, guys. We're gonna do two. We're gonna do two little vape hits. I think we're gonna do the camera one of these days, man. I really do. I think we're gonna do the camera one of these days. I'm just gonna have to like put a mask on or something. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Cheers, though. Actually, I think I am gonna grab the bong. Hold on. I'm not gonna pause any of this. Not pausing any of this. Raw. I know that's what you fuckers want. I know this is what you want. All the critics are going to say it's not what you want, but I know it is, bitch. Don't you fucking lie to me. Cheers. Oh, guys. I don't think there's anything in there. Hold on. I will pause to pack this thing. And guys, before we rip this bowl, I want to say something to each and every one of you. Really quick. This is corny, but I live by a philosophy that, like, if you're thinking of saying something nice, you should just say it. Like, why are you just thinking it? You should just get it off your chest. So, I'm just going to say, like, if you're out there, no matter where you're at in the world, no matter your position, no matter your job, no matter the color of your skin, this is going to be super cliche, I'm sorry. No matter your eye color, no matter what kind of shoes you wear, I don't give a fuck if they have holes in them. I don't care if you're wearing the same jeans you wore for the last 5 fucking years. I don't care if you're wearing a new suit you just got pressed yesterday. No matter where you're at, man, I just hope you're trying to do something that you love. And that you have something that you really care about. It's so important that you guys are pursuing something bigger than yourself. Because you won't realize how important it is before you're dead. It's going to be on your deathbed where you realize, why the fuck did I ever give up on my dreams? All of the quitting never mattered, because this moment It was always meant to matter. This moment was always going to happen. No matter what, you're always going to die. And so why? Of course you have to go to work. Of course you have to pay the bills. But why? What's stopping you from pursuing something that will make you happy one day? What is it? Are you too busy? What are you doing? What's more important than this? Think about the outcomes of your actions. And just know I love you. I don't know who you are. I don't know your fucking name. I don't know who you voted for. I don't know anything about you, but I love you. And I hope you're pursuing happiness in whatever you're doing in your life. And I hope that you have fulfillment and you're surrounded by people who love you. And if you don't have anybody that loves you, know that Christ loves you. And know that I will, if you want to talk, dude, we get 2 viewers on this show. Fucking reach out. Leave a comment. I'll hit you up. Let's go. Come on. I'm here for you. I'll fight by your side, man. If you're going through something, let's fucking talk about it. Let's make a positive impact in this world. And with that being said, cheers, guys. Now that was a pretty decent little bong hit. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show. And just know I'm only here because I feel like this shit needs to get done. I feel like someone like me needs to exist out there and let people know that you're not alone and that you're not the only one who thinks like this. Because I for a while felt like that. Felt like no one else thought like me. I felt like no one could relate to my thoughts. I really did, because I would talk to people who are conservatives in my family, and I would hear things they say that I just don't agree with, like that being gay is wrong, and that like gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married, and like it's bad that trans people go out and like men want to be girls and girls want to be guys. Like, I don't agree with any of that. I think that if you because this is going to sound really weird, but I try to think of like how I love my girl, and I project that onto a dude, and I say, well, if a dude can feel this way for another dude, I'm all in. Okay, cool. That's fine. Fuck it. Yes. If you're happy, I'm happy, dude. I don't care. If you actually feel what I feel, like what I feel for my girl, because I'll damn die. I'll fucking die, dude. I'll kill a lot of people before I fall, but I will fall. But before I fall, I will try to take as many of you fuckers, whoever, not you fuckers. I love you guys, but I'm just saying, whoever, man, I'll try my best, and I'll do whatever the fuck I gotta do for my family, but especially for her is what the conversation is about her. It's like, if you can feel that for whoever, I don't really care who you are or who you want to marry. In my opinion, marriage is a piece of paper. I don't agree with Ben Shapiro on a lot of things, but he said something that was really interesting. He said, I have 2 marriage certificates. I have one that's in a filing cabinet, that's from the government, and I have one hanging on my wall, and that's from my church, or I don't know what he calls it, whatever the Jewish church is. I think he actually said church, I don't know. But he has the one from his church, and I was just that resonates with me deep. That deeply resonates with this whole, because I'm sure he's not pro gay marriage, but secretly he just made the best like defense for gay marriage ever. Because it's like, yeah, the marriage for the government is just a filing cabinet thing. It really is. Like, what is marriage? It just lets people know, if I die, this is where my shit goes. That's really all marriage is. And so with that same logic, I can deduce or reduce or whatever the fucking word is, reduce it down to a point where it's like, okay, so if that one just goes in the filing cabinet and the real one goes on the wall, then why can't I just go get the filing cabinet one? And with that being said, it's like, okay, I won't have my gay marriage in your church. Deal. But I should be allowed to get married to whoever the fuck I want to, as long as they're over the age of 18 and they're not mentally ill, period. Period. You know? I really believe that. I don't know, man. Maybe that's controversial, but to me, that just seems like common sense. You know? And so, but that's one thing with the people on the right I disagree with. And then with the people on the left, I disagree with like women going in the girl or men going in the women's bathroom and like men participating in women's sports, and all that shit. And I feel like all that's common sense too. You look at the bone mass of a woman versus a man, and I think it's actually women who have denser. Well, I feel like that's wrong to say, but I know that estrogen is what like gives denser bones. But I want to say men have denser bones, but I don't know scientifically if that's true. But I know that men have more muscle mass. I know men have more mass. We are bigger in stature and often taller, although I've seen some tall ladies. But I've never seen ladies with like huge, okay, maybe I have. I don't know. Huge triceps, huge muscles, like, right. I don't know how to explain it. You guys can't see where I'm pointing right now, but I am pointing. It's like right on the side of your bicep, Like when you're flexing, that part right there. If you feel the front of your bicep. I feel like a lady's bicep doesn't form like that. And if they do, I wouldn't fuck her. If you guys would fuck her, that's great. She needs some dick, but I wouldn't do it. You guys can do it. Deal. But I just don't think that women's bodies have the same structure as a man's body. And men have naturally higher testosterone. Men have naturally more aggression when you're talking combat sports. And so, but on the left, this is like you have to agree with it or you're far right. you know? And it's crazy. That's nonsense. Why can't I just love everybody? Why can't you just stop being fucking weirdos? Seriously. I feel like, and that's why I want to put this show out there, because I want you guys to understand that, like, no, it's okay to think like this. It is okay to ask questions, even if everybody says they're wrong questions. Find the fucking answers. If you care about something, you dig, you find the answers. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. And if you conclude that what you found is like, okay, you have to figure out, was it the right thing or the wrong thing? Was it a good thing or a bad thing? Whatever that thing you're looking up is. And you have to figure that out for yourself. But that's where your, principles and your ethics and your morals come into judgment. Because if you find some controversial things about the Holocaust, I don't know what they would be. I don't know. But if you do, and it's like, oh, if I told people this, they would probably disagree with me. If you find that, okay, you may be right, but how much is it worth? What is that information worth? Because if you're always talking about the Holocaust, eventually people are going to associate you with the Holocaust. And now you're playing identity politics type shit. And in today's age, that is a trend that needs to die, in my opinion. Identity politics is fucking dangerous, dude. When you start associating yourself with, oh, I'm LGBT, I'm this, I'm that. No, dude, you're a fucking person. Chill. Hit the bong with us. Come on the show. Cheers. Let's talk about your family. How old is your kid? How's your wife doing? How's your husband doing? How's your whatever doing? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about conspiracy theories. You ever done psychedelics before? You know? And eventually if you could deduce those down to politics, of course, you could. But you could just have a nice conversation with somebody. And you don't always need to put politics in everything. With video games, for example, that's a huge thing. That's a big thing for people. Some people just want to go into an imaginary world, play their fucking game, and they don't want to think about anything while they're doing it. They don't. They just want to turn off their brain for just a couple hours and vibe and call each other retards in the fucking Discord call. Is that okay with you? You won't be invited. It's okay. We wouldn't invite people like you to the Discord call. We'll sniff out your pussiness almost immediately. Okay? We'll sniff you. And as soon as you start talking about politics, we'll eat you. It's not even a debate. And the fact of the matter is, I'm 22 years old, and if I got Kamala Harris on this show to strictly talk about politics, she would not last for nearly this long. She could only do 40 minutes on Joe Rogan. I have gone an hour and 41 by myself. And I don't regret a damn word of anything that I've said. I don't take back anything I've said. I don't take back any of the bong hits. I don't take back any of the cheers or any of the I love yous. I take back nothing. I regret nothing. In fact, we're going to add one more fucking cheers. Well, I got this weird vape where it's like dual flavor. So I got to twist. I know it's not good for me. Don't fucking RFK me right now. Cheers. I can't believe they almost tried to ban these things. I know it's bad, but it should be illegal. It should be legal. Maybe it should be tested more though. We should probably not buy them from China. Can we all agree on that? Buying these things from China is probably, dude, they're shooting fucking cameras in our lungs, man. They're looking inside our bodies, dude. Heartbeat sensors, man. But I just with this whole thing, this is all I'm trying to say. I know I sidebar a lot. I know I digress a lot, but if you guys actually are listening to this right now, I'm sure you guys really don't give a fuck. But I just really want to say that never give up. Never fucking give up, dude. Even though you've been working somewhere for your whole ass life, even if you're 40 years old, working at a fucking grocery store, I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. You know in your heart there's something you should be doing. Dude, when I miss this podcast, dude, it's only been a week. I checked the fucking thing. It's only been a week. I feel like I'm wasting time. And this thing I got going on, I'm actually going to take a sip of my Sprite here because my mouth is getting dry. Hey, it's healthier than fucking Diet Coke. That's what Trump drinks, right? But never give up, man. Even though shit seems like it's really bleak or there's no hope. Even if you don't have any idea, think about it. Take a couple hours today. Think about what you could be doing. Think about the people you could be talking to. Try putting yourself out there even for a day. My big thing was VR chat. You want me to tell the truth? Ask anybody I'm related to. I'm sure one day it'll come out. Ask them. They'll fucking tell you it all started on VR chat. I used to host fucking political commentary on VR chat. I would just poll random people, be like, yo, what's the most controversial opinion you have? Let's dissect it and let's talk about it. Go. And we'd sit there and talk about it for like an hour and a half. And it would be beautiful because people would tell their truth. And it's like, and I would always convince them with this line. This is the line I would use. You guys ready for this? I would say, okay, I'm just a person on the internet and you're never going to see me again. We're never going to talk again. There's millions of people that play this game. So with that being said, I won't add you. You won't add me. This will be a one-off conversation. What is your most controversial take on anything? Go. And dude, I'm telling you, I got some really fucking interesting responses. And it was fucking awesome to hear people just be honest. Because this was in a time during, I think it was right before COVID. No, it couldn't have been. It was around 4 years ago. So 2020, 2021-ish. So it was still pandemic times. You know, I know VR chat's weird now. But back then, there was some interesting motherfuckers. And every single day, I should have started a podcast back then. I thought about it, but I didn't think anyone would listen. Now I regret it. But that's why I started this one now. Because fuck it, why not? You know, but no matter the circumstance, you don't have to feel embarrassed. Most people don't go out of their way to talk to other people. So the fact that you're actually trying to go out of your way to talk to other people, that's an amazing thing. And the fact you're even thinking about it at all, that's beautiful. You need to pursue that because not everybody pursues that. And not everybody even has that thought of pursuing that. Like some people can't even get that thought in their head. Like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to random people today. You know, people don't think like that. That's not a thing people think often. So when you get that thought, you need to hop on it. Be like, fuck it. I'm going to do it. And then you just do it. First thought that comes to your mind. How do you do it? VR chat, go. You can hop on your phone, PC, Xbox, I think. I don't know. Talk to people in an Xbox lobby. In a fucking, in a COD lobby or something. They might call you a retard. Or I don't think you can say retard anymore on Xbox. You're kind of forced to be nice. People just ignore you. You know. But who knows? Just put yourself out there. That's the one thing I really want to share. Put yourself out there and find something that you're interested in. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Peace! Wait. My sweet, sweet darlings. My gentle gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. I love each and every one of you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.